spiritual
I
person.
am. And what this boy says happened to him fascinates me, and I'm not alone. I mean, the book sold more than 10 million copies.
Well, I got to the bottom of his near-death experience when I sat down with the boy himself and his family.
You saw heaven? What does it look like?
It's beautiful.
A little boy claims to have visited heaven and returned with unbelievable details that shocked the whole world. Is this a miracle, a myth, or something more profound? Let's take a closer look at the story of Colton Burpo that has left the world questioning reality. In the small town of Imperial, Nebraska, life was simple in 2003. Todd Burpo worked as a church pastor and had other jobs too. His wife Sonia taught at school. Their 4-year-old son Colton was a happy, energetic child who loved playing with his toys and running around their yard. Everyone in town knew the Burpo family. Todd helped people with their problems at church, while Sonia helped children learn at school. Colton spent his days like any other little boy, going to preschool and playing with friends. One morning, everything changed when Colton got sick with what seemed like a stomach ache. At first, his parents thought it was just a normal illness. They gave him medicine and lots of water. But Colton's pain got worse and worse each hour. He cried harder than they'd ever heard, holding his stomach tight. His face turned pale, and he couldn't even sit up straight anymore. Their family doctor told them it was just the flu and to keep giving him water, but Colton's mom knew something was very wrong. The look in her son's eyes scared her. It wasn't the normal look of a sick child. She could see real fear and pain in his face. When Colton started screaming in pain, she knew they couldn't wait any longer. Even Todd, who usually stayed calm in hard times, felt scared when he saw how much his son was hurting. The drive to the big hospital felt like it took forever. Sonia sat in the back seat holding Colton while Todd drove as fast as he safely could. Every bump in the road made Colton cry out in pain. The doctors at the hospital quickly found out that Colton's appendix had burst, sending dangerous germs through his whole body. They said he needed surgery right away, and they weren't sure if he would make it. Sonia cried while Todd tried to stay strong. Before they took Colton to surgery, Todd kissed his forehead and whispered, "I love you, buddy." Colton, barely awake, whispered back, "I love you too, Daddy." Let's see what Todd said.
To know what happened to Colton, but in Colton's defense, he tried to talk to me in the hospital. That first night when we came out of surgery, he said, "Dad, do you know I almost died?" It scared me to death. I mean, I'm sitting here praying, praying, God, give us a miracle. And I knew the frustration, and I could tell how tired my son was getting. And I was afraid he was going to quit on me and give up. And I'm like, "Son, no, you're not gonna quit. We're gonna pray. You keep fighting. You're gonna get better." I changed the subject. I thought maybe, okay, he'd overheard a nurse say something while he was under anesthesia or something. My first reaction is, okay, they were saying something they didn't. I had no idea where. And I think there was another time in the hospital too where he said, "Dad, you know I almost died."
During the surgery, things got very scary. The doctors worked hard to save Colton as his heart kept getting weaker. Todd walked back and forth in the waiting room, trying to pray but finding it hard to think straight. Sonia called family members on the phone, her voice shaking as she asked them to pray for her little boy. The surgery took much longer than expected. Every time a doctor walked by, both parents hoped for good news. Finally, after what seemed like forever, a tired-looking doctor came out to tell them Colton had survived, but he was still in danger. But wait, there is more. When Colton woke up after surgery, he started telling his parents amazing things. He said he had floated up out of his body during the surgery and watched the doctors working on him. He described exactly what tools they used and what they did. He even told his parents what they were doing while he was in surgery, how his mom was crying on the phone and his dad was praying alone in a small room. His parents were surprised because there was no way Colton could have seen these things while he was asleep during surgery. But that wasn't all Colton had to tell them. He said he went to a beautiful place filled with bright light and warmth. He saw angels there, not like in pictures, but as beings made of light who sang the most beautiful music he had ever heard. He met Jesus and described him in detail. Brown hair, kind eyes that looked like the ocean, and marks on his hands and feet. What amazed his parents most was when Colton talked about meeting his sister in heaven. A baby his parents had lost before he was born. Something they had never told him about. He also recognized his great-grandfather, Pop, in an old photo, even though Pop had died long before Colton was born. Let's see what Colton said. As people heard about what happened to Colton, they became very interested in his story.
You tell me what you remember about heaven, okay?
Okay.
Was it colorful or black and white?
It was colorful.
What kinds of colors?
Well, it's all the colors we have here on Earth, and then some more.
New colors. Wow. Are there many people in heaven?
Yes, there are a lot of people.
Does heaven look like Earth?
It does have a little bit of the same texture, except it's a place where there's no sin.
So grass and clouds and sky and mountains. How about that? Things like that, just like it looks on Earth?
Yep.
I know this is a big one. I know you get this question a lot. Are there animals in heaven? Did you see animals?
Yeah, I saw animals, and one of the animals that I enjoyed playing with was the lions.
And they were tame?
They didn't hurt people. They were up there, and they were fine.
A book company asked the family to write about what happened, and their book became very popular. Many people wrote letters saying Colton's story helped them believe in heaven, but not everyone was nice about it. Some people said the family was making it all up for money. Others said Colton was just dreaming. At school, some kids made fun of him, calling him names like Heaven Boy. All this attention started to make Colton feel bad. Things got harder at home too. Todd thought they should keep telling people about Colton's experience because it might help them believe in God. But Sonia worried about how all the attention was affecting their son. She could see Colton wasn't as happy and energetic as before. He spent more time alone in his room, drawing pictures that started to look darker and scarier. Instead of drawing angels and gates, he drew strange, shadowy figures and deep black spaces. He talked about seeing things in heaven that scared him. Places he wasn't supposed to go, and people who looked worried or afraid. The family started noticing strange things happening in their house. Lights would turn on and off by themselves. Some rooms felt unusually cold. Colton said he could feel watchers nearby, waiting for him to remember something important. He told his parents that someone in heaven, not Jesus, but someone else, had given him a warning message for people on Earth. But he couldn't remember exactly what the message was, and this really bothered him. Let's see what Sonia said.
That was one of the biggest shocks of this story. Was it not, Sonia?
Oh yeah, very much so, because we had not talked with, either child. Cassie was, 5 or 6. We just hadn't shared that with him. How do you explain a baby dying? And so when he came back and said he'd met his sister, that was touch point in our lives.
Yeah. Did you believe all of this was true? He was telling these stories. So many of these things were coming out. But when that happened, do you think that that was a turning point in you realizing that your son really had been to heaven?
Well, we had already realized he had with some of the previous stories. That was one that really hit home because that was a hurt.
After a really tough TV interview where people were mean to Colton, Sonia put her foot down. She said they needed to stop doing interviews and book events. She wanted Colton to have a normal childhood again. At first, Todd disagreed. But when he saw how tired and sad his son looked, he finally understood. They decided to step away from the spotlight and focus on being a normal family again. Today, the Burpos still believe in what Colton saw, but they keep it private. They learned that sometimes the most important thing isn't telling everyone about a miracle. It's taking care of each other and letting a child just be a child. Colton still remembers what happened, but now he can live a more normal life without having to tell his story over and over. The family stays strong by believing in God and supporting each other even if they don't understand everything about what happened. What makes Hollywood's most notorious bachelor finally surrender his freedom and admit he was wrong about love? For decades, George Clooney proudly wore the crown of Hollywood's most eligible bachelor, famously declaring he would never again walk down the aisle after his failed marriage to Talia Balsam in 1993, as he charmed his way through a string of glamorous relationships with celebrities like Sarah Larson, Elisabetta Canales, and Stacy Keibler. The world wondered, would anyone ever capture the heart of this committed bachelor? The answer arrived in an unexpected package, not in the form of another Hollywood starlet, but through a brilliant international human rights lawyer who had never sought the spotlight. When George Clooney met Amal Alamuddin at his Lake Como home in 2013, something shifted in the universe of this seemingly unchangeable man. What was it about this accomplished attorney that made one of Hollywood's most steadfast bachelors completely reverse his stance on marriage? Perhaps it was her disinterest in his celebrity status, or her dedication to fighting for justice on the global stage. Whatever the magnetic force, their connection was immediate and profound. For the first time in his life, Clooney found himself facing an uncomfortable truth. His carefully constructed life of freedom and independence felt incomplete. Now, over a decade later, as rumors of marital struggles surface and their twins Alexander and Ella grow up in the spotlight, questions arise about whether this unlikely union can withstand the pressures of their vastly different worlds. Has the former bachelor truly found his match? Or are the very reasons that kept him single for so long threatening to unravel what seemed to be Hollywood's perfect love story?
So now, who do you think started? Do you think Portia started that rumor? It's every day some other story. I think I'm on the cover of a magazine. Amal and I are fighting getting divorced.
Oh, already?
That's sad.
So sorry.
Well, we tried.
You looked it together.
We gave it a good run.
The couple's 2014 Venice wedding marked a new chapter in Clooney's life. The ceremony, held at the Amen Canal Grand Hotel, was an elegant affair that captured global attention. In the early years of their marriage, they seemed to successfully balance their busy careers with their personal life, maintaining their rule of never spending more than a week apart. The birth of twins Alexander and Ella in June 2017 brought new joy and challenges to their relationship. Becoming a father at 56, Clooney embraced parenthood with enthusiasm, often sharing humorous stories about the challenges of raising twins. The children's arrival seemed to strengthen their bond initially, with both parents working to create a stable, nurturing environment despite their demanding careers. Recent reports suggest the couple has been facing increasing challenges in their marriage. Several factors have contributed to these difficulties. The Clooney marriage finds itself at a critical juncture, facing mounting challenges that have become increasingly difficult to ignore. At the forefront of their struggles are the significant distance and scheduling conflicts that plague their relationship. George's forthcoming year-long commitment to Broadway in New York marks another extended period of separation, while Amal continues her demanding work as an international human rights lawyer. According to sources close to the couple, their time together has dwindled dramatically, with the pair spending merely 10% of their day in each other's company. This situation is further complicated by their maintenance of multiple residences across different countries, creating logistical challenges that strain their relationship. The 17-year age difference between the couple has emerged as an increasingly sensitive issue. George, now 63, has begun to privately voice concerns about aging, particularly in contrast to Amal's vibrant energy and flourishing career. Insiders reveal that George has become more self-conscious about this age gap, frequently expressing worry about its long-term implications for their relationship. This anxiety has reportedly intensified as he observes Amal's continued professional ascent, while he grapples with the natural effects of aging. Their demanding career priorities have created additional tension within their marriage. Amal's unwavering dedication to her legal career and human rights advocacy continues unabated, while George juggles various film projects and business ventures. Their once sacred promise to never spend more than a week apart has become increasingly difficult to honor as their professional obligations pull them in opposite directions. This career-driven separation has begun to create emotional distance alongside the physical separation. Perhaps most concerning is the impact these challenges have had on their family life, particularly affecting their 7-year-old twins, Alexander and Ella. The children have become increasingly aware of their parents' separate lives and busy schedules, forcing them to adapt to a unique family dynamic. The struggle to maintain family unity across multiple residences has created additional complexity, while the constant balance between privacy and public life adds another layer of stress to their family situation. Sources close to the family have noted significant changes in the twins' behavior, and development T. Alexander has shown signs of premature maturity, potentially as a coping mechanism for the complex family dynamics. Meanwhile, Ella has gravitating more toward her mother's interests and lifestyle, perhaps seeking to strengthen their connection during periods of separation. Despite these challenges, both children have shown remarkable resilience and adaptability, becoming fluent in English, Italian, and Arabic, a proof to their international upbringing and exposure to diverse cultures. Recent developments suggest that the couple is making concerted efforts to address their marital issues. George has reportedly stepped up his commitment to family time, making more conscious attempts to be romantic and attentive to Amal. Their recent 10th anniversary celebration served as a public demonstration of unity, though sources suggest the private reality may be more complicated. Both continue to support each other's professional endeavors, even as they struggle to find common ground in their personal lives. Their Villa Oleandra in Lake Como, Italy, has evolved into a complex symbol of their relationship. While it serves as a cherished family retreat, it has also become George's primary workspace, blurring the lines between professional and personal life. The property serves as the focal point for family gatherings and represents the location where they spend most of their limited time together. However, the constant media attention the villa attracts has added another layer of pressure to their already strained relationship. Despite their personal challenges, both George and Amal continue to achieve remarkable professional success. George maintains his position as a Hollywood powerhouse, engaging in high-profile film projects and managing successful business ventures, including his lucrative Casamigos tequila brand. He has also expanded his humanitarian work, demonstrating his commitment to causes beyond the entertainment industry. Amal continues to handle landmark international legal cases, advocate for human rights, and hold prestigious teaching positions, all while building her global influence in the legal and humanitarian spheres. The Clooney Foundation for Justice has emerged as a significant binding force in their relationship, providing a shared platform for their humanitarian work. Through their foundation's involvement in over 40 countries, they have found a way to collaborate meaningfully despite their busy schedules. This shared commitment to justice and humanitarian causes has become a source of mutual pride and purpose, offering some common ground amid their other challenges. Looking toward the future, the couple faces several possible scenarios and is actively exploring various solutions. These include potential reductions in work commitments, the pursuit of more collaborative projects, and efforts to establish more structured family time. However, they continue to grapple with persistent career demands, geographic separation, age-related concerns, and constant public scrutiny. Their ability to navigate these challenges while maintaining their marriage and family unity remains to be seen. Throughout all these challenges, the well-being of their children remains paramount. Both George and Amal are deeply committed to providing a stable environment for Alexander and Ella, emphasizing education and cultural awareness, while shielding them from excessive media attention. Their dedication to nurturing their children's individual interests and talents remains unwavering, even as they work through their own relationship difficulties. While the Clooneys maintain a united public front, sources suggest they face significant internal struggles in balancing their personal and professional lives. Their commitment to working through these challenges privately while protecting their children from public speculation demonstrates their mature approach to these difficulties. Despite the obstacles they face, their shared determination to maintain family unity and their commitment to their children continues to drive their efforts to preserve their partnership. Their story continues to evolve, with both partners working to navigate their challenges while maintaining their professional achievements and family unity. The outcome of their efforts remains to be seen, but their commitment to their children appears to be the driving force in their decisions moving forward.
There's an effort now to address environmental concerns and climate change. Tonight, county leaders met with advocates to discuss solutions through legislation. Our reporter, Yamari Sase, was there and brings us a story.
People around the world were surprised when Prince George, who is only 11 years old, broke silence and shocked everyone. He spoke up about taking care of our planet.
Oh, I love him. Cheeky chappy.
Usually, young members of the royal family stay quiet in public, but George decided it was time to share what he thinks about protecting the environment. Standing next to his parents, Prince William and Princess Catherine, he asked a simple but important question. If we don't take care of the earth, who will? George isn't like most kids his age. He goes to Lambrook School in Berkshire, where he learns regular subjects like math and science, but he also has to learn about being a future king. His parents try very hard to give him a normal childhood while teaching him about his special role. At school, he plays sports, makes friends, and does homework just like other children. But he also has to understand that one day he will be the King of England. His parents have done a good job of slowly helping him get used to being in public. The first time many people saw him was in 2015, when he stood on the balcony of Buckingham Palace with his family. Since then, he's been to many important events. He even had a special job at his grandfather King Charles's coronation, where he helped carry the king's robes. Through all of this, he usually just smiled and waved, which is why his recent words about the environment made such big news. When George talked about protecting the earth, lots of people had different reactions.
It's all about succession.
You have to wonder if when he's standing up there on days like today and looking around going, wow, one day this is all going to be for me.
Some people, like the famous young activist Greta Thunberg, were very happy to hear him speak up. She wrote online that it was good to see young leaders caring about the planet. Many other people agreed, saying it was nice to see someone so young care about such important things. But some people weren't sure if a prince should talk about these topics, wondering if he was too young, or if royals should stay quiet about big issues. George's interest in the environment comes from his family. His father, Prince William, and his grandfather, King Charles, both care a lot about nature and protecting animals.
Living organisms dependent on soil, rain, and sunlight were here as they laid the first stones of Windsor Castle. That makes some of the oaks here almost 1,000 years old. These trees germinated during the reign of William the Conqueror in 1066 from a simple acorn like this. By the time that Henry VIII lived here, they'd grown into mature, impressive giants. And amazingly, some of those very same trees still survive here today.
They've spent many years talking about why we need to take care of our planet. Now George is showing that he cares about these things too, but he's talking about them in his